If you're watching this, let's spin. Our first spin goes to... Wait a second. Hey, Dragon City it is.
Today's dragon is the Illusion Dragon. This dragon can only be obtained through breeding in the ancient world. It's hard to distinguish between real life and illusion when this dragon is around. He likes to create visions inside others' minds just an experiment. No bad intentions. It's Raquel's turn to shine!
This is Rhino Productions for Halloween.
Creepy zombies went out to trick or treat. Everybody danced to the spooky beat. They had such enormous fun. They called for another creepy zombie to come. La 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 la. La 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 la.
What's up? My name's Drac. And you know what I'm on a track? Because today, we're taking a look at the top 10 vampires in fighting games. So, are you really good about the vampires? But here's another vampire video, what I see for every vampire character. But on day 6, we're taking a look at these more fighting games. But this is called the top 10 vampires in fighting games. But if you excuse me for a moment, so I'm going to need to fang out of this. So anyways, let's get started with the vampires.
Fighting games allow us to take control of martial artists and utilize fighting styles, both real and fictional. However, let's take advantage of the fact that we're in a video game
Fighting
and go
games,
way beyond the
they're
boundaries of reality.
fantastic.
So you know what you would never find in a martial
Never heard
arts
of that
tournament in
mist?
real life?
It's gone on.
Vampires. You know, the monsters that traditionally lurk in the night.
Vampire!
Control and turn into
Blood!
bats and much more. In this video,
Blood!
I'll be discussing my favorite vampires that have appeared on the rosters of fighting games, looking at how well they fit the motif of being a creature of the night, based on their appearance,
creature of
moveset,
the
and backstory.
undead.
So grab a refreshing glass of blood that's actually just cranberry juice, and join me in counting down the top 10 vampires in fighting games. Number 10. Arquaid Brunstud from Melty Blood. She's a modern vampire who controls her impulse for blood so she can walk among the heroes. That was nice of her. With Melty Blood being the continuation of a visual novel, she has a lot of anime backstory that I will not go into. For her vampire
Still got
powers,
on the story.
nothing super traditional since she's more of a benevolent vampire with a conservative sweater and skirt outfit.
Get over it.
But she does have those red glowing eyes to show that she is on the supernatural side. For her moveset, she mostly claw swipes and teleports at you. But if you want something a little more wild on the vampire side, her alternate form, Retiquade, is basically an evil Ryu type character, showing what would happen if she were to drink some of that sweet blood and become a full-on vampire. Off the look alone, she's got the completely red eyes, spiked hair, and sharp teeth you may expect from a crazed vampire.
I have one sharp tooth over here.
Number 9. Eliza from Tekken. Remember that time Tekken had a vampire? With her only appearance as of this video being in Tekken Revolution, she never appeared in a normal Tekken game since Revolution was a stat-based, free-to-download fighting game with standard Tekken mechanics.
Well,
design-wise, she's interesting. She has horns and lots of blood-red color in both her dress and roses. Though she's about one set of wings away from looking like a character with the devil gene.
Hey!
Eliza
Terror
has
of
some
the devil!
interesting vampire-themed moves in
Did
her
I
repertoire.
notice that?
Most notably, her undefined vampire blasts, bats appearing as her hit sparks, sucking her opponent's blood as a throw, classic, and narcolepsy. Focusing on the latter two, when she sucks her opponent's blood, their body dries up, which means she's taking a lot of blood. Glutton. As for her other character trait, she falls asleep during the match, which recovers a little bit of health for her and relates to her backstory. The reason she's awake in today's time period is she went to sleep in her coffin for just a nap 1 century ago, but accidentally fell asleep for 100 years. Classic Eliza.
Sleeping Beauty.
Number 8. Shenko from Darkstalkers, also known as Lele in Japan. About time we see a character from a franchise with a vampire in its name
Vampire
in Japan.
Saber.
However, unlike other vampires on this list, she is based off vampires from Chinese lore, the Jiangshi. These vampires are not about sucking blood as much as they are for absorbing your life energy or chi. They walk with their arms out and hop as a method of mobility, hence Shenko's strange stance. A big reason Shenko has no interest in absorbing chi is because she retains her humanity due to her sister transforming into the wallpaper on her forehead. Yup, Shenko is actually 2 different characters, with the sister Mei Ling heightening Shenko's power and keeping them both in check. As for Shenko's moveset, it's mostly a game of what's up my sleeve.
What's up my sleeve?
The answer? Everything. Because this is Capcom in the 90s, expect plenty of references to some other Capcom games used as projectiles as Shenko throws from her sleeves. Final note, since the term Jiangshi embodies vampires, ghosts, and zombies, Shenko shows lots of ghostly and zombie abilities, like walking on air and phasing through things, and even has referred to herself as a Chinese ghost in the English translation. Since she displays attributes of all 3 horror-themed creatures, I like to consider her a 3-in-1 package.
But there's 3 of these.
Number 7. Dracula from Castlevania Judgment. How could you go wrong with an iteration of the most famous vampire out there?
That's Dracula!
This game had some gimmicks like Wii motion controls to move your weapon or defend, and a plethora of interactable objects on each stage for attack.
Well, everything knows about Halloween.
As for Dracula,
you go for
it! Have you ever wanted to take control of the final boss from the original Castlevania? Now, here's your chance. He's pretty accurate to the original game. He teleports and lifts his cape to release various fireballs, just like the original Castlevania. He also has a good amount of armor in some cases to go along with his history of being a final boss. It's the most fun you'll have standing in one place. Or not. I generally enjoy more mobile characters.
Still gotta enjoy.
Number 6. Mira from Killer Instinct. Mira loves using blood. She embraces that trait the most with her vampire lifestyle. However, it wasn't always coffins and bats for Mira. She's the sister of Maya, and was trained to be an expert hunter just like her sister. On a mission to kill a bunch of vampires, Mira saves Maya from death, but ends up dying herself. However, the one thing she was out to kill gave her life once more. So Mira embraced her new vampire being. For her blood-related moves, sure, she'll bite you to suck blood as with most vampires, but she uses her own blood as a weapon. Those silver cloud-like designs around her are not just for aesthetics. That's her blood under the effects of her gloves of Rasa Vatham. Ooh, that's a name. It turns her blood into basically liquid metal and allows it to be hardened.
That's amazing on that.
When she's not using blood or viciously slashing you, she attacks you with her blood seekers, which is just her fancy word for bats.
Oh, that's
However,
bad.
these bats were actually formed with the help of her gloves, so maybe that did give reason for a new name after all. Number 5. Rachel Alucard from BlazBlue. She has a certain trope of vampires right in her name. When you spell it backwards, it makes the word Lekar, also Dracula. She's the upper crust leader of the Alucard family,
get the backwards,
is immensely powerful with her vampire abilities. That being said, this is another character that hates her vampire urges. She is not interested in those blood-sucking shenanigans, except for this one time with Ragna after he got his arm cut off and she had to save his life. But she probably doesn't want you talking about that
you know what they say?
Hard
is backwards for.
It's best just to let her be nonchalant about her relationship with him. Her former job was being an onlooker of all events in all timelines of the world before she decided to join the battle with the trade-off of weakening her magic powers. Her fighting abilities are pretty vast regardless. She uses sorcery to harness some elements like wind, and uses others to fight for her, like her cat that acts as a parasol and many other objects, and her frog buddy named George the 13th. Number 4. Nitara from Mortal Kombat. Nitara combines the attributes of a few different types of vampires. I like her wings, outfit, and really overall design. She was first playable in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, where her most notable attack was firing blood balls at you, which is counterproductive since she needs that blood to survive. But it's okay because it's like an investment.
Blood.
You might as well use it if you have a blood surplus. Plus, if she beats you, she can perform her fatality, Feast of Blood. That
we call
explains
this
how she makes up for all the lost blood in
Get it?
battle. There's even an in-game explanation on why she can fight in stages with sunlight despite being a vampire. Apparently, only Earthrealm sun harms vampires.
Hey, the Earthrealm the sun?
Outworld stages.
But the sun
the
is coming up!
Is midway stages in the sunlight, and a mere vampire trope will not stop them. She also has expert deception skills going by the game's story. Ironically, she was not playable in Mortal Kombat Deception. Nitara needs a portal orb to separate the realm of vampires from Outworld. So she tricks Reptile into being her henchman, which he's probably used to at this point, and gets him to damage Cyrex's device that teleports him home. Therefore, he'd be able to help Nitara get the orb, so she could help him get home. She should be glad to know that this cyborg allied with the Special Forces doesn't question any of the scary vampire lady's motives. He doesn't actually have to, since she's neutral and doesn't care about the Then she restores her realm and everyone is happy until Mortal Kombat Armageddon forces her to fight once more. For the last time. Hopefully not. Number 3. Raphael from Soul Calibur. Raphael is an example that the Soul Edge can basically do anything. Besides causing characters to go insane, giving them scary demon arms, and preventing aging, it has the authority to turn its victim into a vampire. I didn't realize that just kind of happens, but I guess you have to start somewhere when there are no other vampires around. When we first meet Raphael in Soul Calibur 2, he's a normal man with a fencing sword. However, after his run-in with Soul Edge and Nightmare,
get the mighty sword.
Still got an action. Sword. This is rarely outright stated, since they keep it subtle with his skin getting paler,
I didn't know about
and the occasional vampire trait of biting his opponent and sucking their blood. I mean, he is definitely a canon vampire, he just does not tout it. The only notable times you see him suck blood are in his throw and Soul Calibur 4 critical finish. His life as a vampire in the story more relates to Soul Calibur and Soul Edge, wanting the world to be malfested with him. Though it's not because he wants to share his gift with the world, but rather to make the world a better place for his adopted daughter Amy. Raphael is not exactly a bad guy, he's more misled. Maybe it was because of Soleil,
I can't
maybe
still
that's just
gonna
how
miss
he
that.
is, with or without vampire powers. Either way, if you look at Amy, you can tell she probably does not want the world to be malfested. Raphael may be a good parent in other areas, but not when it comes to giving gifts. Happy birthday, Amy. The world is now on fire, all just for you. Come on, Dad, really? I just said I wanted a magic 8-ball this year.
Still got a present for Christmas.
Number 2, Slayer from Guilty Gear. Slayer is probably the best combination of vampire cliches
Slayer
and things
from
you don't
Guilty
normally see
Gear?
from vampires. For example, he was born on Halloween, is from Romania,
Yep, they're born in
and
on
sucks
Halloween.
blood to restore health.
And it's from
On the
Romania.
other hand, though, he seems to have a loving
I think
relationship
Halloween Day,
not based on
actually on
deceit.
October
He's not a
31st.
big fan of sucking his
But
opponent's blood.
still got the
and
last day of
writes
Halloween.
haikus. While there are some other vampires that
But
have
still
those
got the
latter
other ones,
attributes,
too.
Slayer is not a character I would expect to have the former attributes because he's not a character I would really think to be a vampire just judging by appearance. Well, until he
Just
pulls out
judging
his
about
wings
that.
and demonic aura. It's partially due to the fact that half of his moveset
Whoa,
is simply
talk
based
about
on
that
being a
action.
gentleman with incredible brute strength. How is he a classy gentleman in battle? Well, he has a move called the Dandy Step, because he's a dandy man.
Dandy
How about a move where
man!
he blows smoke in your face from his pipe? And you cannot ignore his instant kill where he punches you into orbit as he writes a haiku about your life. Not moves I'd expect from a vampire, but ones I would expect from a grade A
The
gentleman.
ones, the for all.
For number 1, I'm going with a vampire that's as close to a fighting game version of Dracula as you can get without actually having Dracula himself in a fighting game. Number 1, Dmitry Maximoff from Darkstalkers. I discussed his backstory
that's the
in
number
one of my
one on that
Halloween
list.
videos last year on parodies of Dracula, but I'll give a brief recap on his history. Dmitry was in a power struggle with his archenemy Belial Aislinn, fighting over the throne
But
of the
it's against
Makai,
the
or
fighting.
the demon dimension. But Belial managed to gain the throne and drastically injure Dmitry in a fight. So 100 years later,
got
Dmitry
Halloween.
returned, stronger, without any weaknesses to sunlight from being exiled to the human world during that time period. However, during that century, Belial died, so his succubus daughter Morgan took the throne, along with Dmitry's public view as the main character and many spots in Capcom crossover fighting games over him.
Hey.
Now
Is
the
there
two fight for
Capcom in
all
here for
eternity,
fighting?
or until Darkstalkers 4 comes out.
Darkstalkers are not
so yeah,
dead.
eternity. Dmitry has a bulk of vampire-themed attacks, turning into bats, sucking blood for nourishment, and one of the most unique moves in fighting game history, Midnight Bliss. Dmitry takes out a rose,
Midnight.
grabs his opponent raging demon style,
Oh
says,
boy.
"Come on,
That
baby,"
demon monster.
turns them female if applicable, sucks their blood, and blows a kiss as he backs away.
Yep.
If his
still got a
opponent is
kiss.
male, he will gender swap them and suck their blood. If they are female, he turns them into an alternate version of themselves.
Still got love.
Or something completely different. The reason he has this attack is because he thinks the blood from an attractive lady tastes better. I'm not sure if he can just turn characters into females or can transform opponents into anything else and just chooses females.
Still got questions.
Either way, I feel these powers are drastically overlooked. Well, the context of a lot of Darkstalkers attacks get neglected, but that's an analysis for another video.
Second spin coming up. What's gonna be on the second spin for the Halloween? Well, if one goes to... Oh, okay, this is gonna be the first time on Halloweentoono 3. You got the joke book.
Today, we're having on for 3 fantastic Halloween jokes. What do you call a dog owned by Dracula? A bloodhound. What can you catch from a vampire in wintertime? Frostbite. What is a vampire's favorite airline? Scare Canada. Well, anyways, see you tomorrow on
The Halloween!
Halloweentoono 3.
watching.
Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.